Hey guys, in today's video, I really just wanted to talk about some of the rookie mistakes that comes with when you acquire an existing business, sort of, common things that first-time buyers get wrong. And in this video, we're just going to touch on two or three of those and ways that you can build resilience as you acquire and operate your first business. My name is Walker Deibel. I'm the Wall Street Journal bestselling author of Buy Then Build, creator of Acquisition Lab. Okay, so number one is like there's always these common sort of rookie, business buyer mistakes that I always see. Maybe the biggest one is just people buy a business and they sort of think that the business runs itself or it kicks off a certain amount of money, and so the first thing they do is sort of go in and take high salaries. It's just kind of it's the wrong move. Okay, you've just loaded up the business with debt. The way that I think about it is it's sort of like think about, you buy a business that's in good shape. And so it's a fit, muscular, low fat kind of, machine. And then when you buy it, you load it up with debt. And so you now have a overweight, machine that needs to get back in shape. And so the way that you do that is you build up safety, you build up cash. You start slow, get used to the rhythm, get used to what's going on, get prepared for surprises or the unexpected. What's saying like everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Like it's one of these where it's not a matter of how well you plan as much as you are ready to react to whatever kind of comes at you, right? And it's no different in business ownership. So keep your salaries low. Don't just go in and take a CEO salary on day one. That's kind of number one. Number two is just sort of the reality of deal negotiations leading up to it, right? Like you read Buy Then Build, you look at some of these other things and you're like, oh, wow, I can get like, 3X or 4X or whatever it is. And it's going to be real simple and everyone's going to be really reasonable. The truth is, I've done over 100 transactions now, but inside 100 transactions. And what I would tell you is that deals tend to get made more often than not when the seller feels like they're selling for too little and the buyer feels like they're paying too much. Okay. It's usually when everyone's a little uncomfortable that the deal gets done, right? And deals typically die 1, 2, 3 times along the way. And so it can be a pretty strenuous, edge of your seat kind of process just to get to that final deal that gets done. Number three, like how long integration should take. So, look, a couple of things. One, I've seen buyers come in and do all the changes right on the first day, and they don't even know what's important yet. They start unplugging computers, forcing people, almost like an Elon Musk, taking over Twitter kind of move where it's like, okay, we're just going to roll heads and, get efficient right away and we'll figure it out. That doesn't tend to work out well in small business, unless it's a turnaround effort and you bought it right in that case. So, the bigger thing is, ETAers are people that are, sort of used to, middle management, large organizations, all the rest of it. There's this kind of saying that you really shouldn't change anything for a year, right? And just sort of get used to it, get the rhythm, figure out what's going on, and then start changing things. I'm going to go with after buying 7, 8 companies, I'm going to go with it's right about in the middle. At the beginning, you have this really good time where people, your new employees they want to please you. They want to show you that like they can provide value. They want to show you that they're on their team. They want to prove that, they've got a hard work ethic. And, there's a lot of things like just in terms of like efficiencies and things like that are just really easy to implement. But if you wait too long, it's too hard to implement because you start to challenge people's value in terms of what they bring to the table. Like when you say like, hey, I don't want to do it this way. I want you to use, Google Docs or whatever. That's actually really hard when you're talking to somebody who, has done it a certain way on paper for, 17, 20 years, right? And so don't underestimate how hard change is and, use that sort of shock to the system, in like month 3, month 4 to get some of those inefficiencies going, right? Don't be too nervous to not change anything. That was the mistake I made on the first acquisition I made, and I lost, a lot of really good time that could have been used to integrate more of those efficiencies. Number 3 is just the emotional roller coaster that it is to be a business owner. Look, every single entrepreneur I've ever known has said to me, "I never would have done it if I'd known how hard it is." But now that I've done it, I can't go back, and I never will be able to. Right? This is no different. Okay. buying, entrepreneurship as being defined by startups is sort of like defining real estate development as ground up construction only. Obviously, that's wrong. You've got value add projects, you've got, buy and hold projects of all kinds. Acquisition entrepreneurship is no different. Okay. It feels lonely. Okay. It feels hard. You don't necessarily have partners in your day to day, right? You're not part of, the happy hour. You're not part of, no one wants to hear your problems. Okay. No one wants to hear your problems. Certainly don't complain to them about your personal guarantee. They don't want to hear that. Okay. They've got what's important to them, and you've got what's important to you, and they've got their problems and you've got yours, and there's very little overlap. Okay. Other than, keep that vision and lead to that vision. And so you have to find your community outside of your business. At least I have every time. Um, and so, join entrepreneur organization, join these types of things, find your people that you can, really tell the truth with confidentially, people that you can open up to and sort of, help each other get through the process. Um, so finding that community is going to be uh, key. And, I think that the other part of the emotional roller coaster is just you've got to be prepared for, all things, right? So in other words, we pick our hard, we choose our hard. I decided in high school or college, I was like, okay, wait a minute, I can work really hard and not make a lot of money, or I can work really hard and make a lot of money. So, you know, the funny thing is that like I sell risk and hard work. That's what I did. And that's what I encourage everyone to do who wants to kind of go for it. Right. My whole thing is, acquisition is equally as important as innovation, and acquisition entrepreneurship is, the most likely path to real wealth for most people. Okay. And so, as you get into this, I can't encourage you enough to get into a routine of meditation. Okay. Start to practice meditation, just find that alone time for reflection, create a vision of what it is you want to accomplish. Second, exercise. Exercise is critical to deal with, the sort of stress and new environment that you'll be working in, right? So it's really just all about meditation, exercise, community. Don't jump in and make a whole lot of changes right away. Go slow, but make them. And just try to get that balance right. Okay. Listen, if you want to acquire a small business in the next, 1 to 12 months, consider Acquisition Lab. We built the elite program for people who want to acquire small businesses. We have a truly vetted community. Only about 25 to 30% of our applicants are extended invitation to enroll. We anchored in world-class education. We brought in a curriculum designer that does accredited curriculums and all the rest of it, certification programs, and assisted us with building out the curriculum. This isn't like I'm an entrepreneur, check out my course. Okay. Um, it goes from there. Obviously, we've got supplier networks, all the tools. We've got intensive before you really get into the lab. We've got monthly daily advisory calls. I added up the other day. I mean, we pay low six figures for all the advisory calls that are given out to everybody, and it's really the diamond approach to finding your truth and finding that business that's right for you. Thanks so much. We'll see you on the inside.